Imagine a world where no one has to worry about meeting their basic fundamental human needs, where financial stress is a thing of the past and everybody has the freedom to pursue what they want to do and when they want to do it, regardless of their financial situation. This might sound like a utopian dream or something that is straight out of science fiction, but it's actually possible through the help of universal basic income. Today I will be talking about universal basic income, and I will talk about how implementing a universal basic income can help transform our society as a whole. First, I will explain what the idea of a universal basic income is and why it is required by talking about the current economic situation in the United States. Second, I will dive into how a universal basic income can help combat these issues and show how it already has in the real world. And finally, I will paint a vision for the world in which universal basic income is implemented. Universal basic income at its fundamental level is providing a universal basic income to any adult over a certain age, a monthly stipend that would help them with anything that they need. Why is this needed? Well, it's no secret that people today struggle to meet their most basic needs due to job insecurity and stagnant wages. In fact, many Americans struggle to make ends meet and cannot even afford basic luxuries of living. According to the Fed's 2022 Economic Well-Being of U.S. Household Survey, in 2022, around 37% of Americans lacked enough money to cover a $400 emergency expense, and this number is up from 32% in 2021. This means that over a third of Americans would not be able to cover an emergency expense if it came up, which is detrimental to the U.S. economy. These people would essentially be helpless. This is not just a societal issue impacting the people who are at most risk. With a journal from the Center of Budget and Public Priorities finding that the share of wealth of the top 1% of individual earners in the United States grew from 30 to 39% in the last 30 years. Clearly, this is an extreme wealth gap between the top 1%, the haves, and the have-nots. And there's a large amount of wealth inequality in the United States that could be balanced through the use of a universal basic income. Now, there are already welfare programs in place to help those who need it the most, but most of these are often not enough for somebody and are heavily stigmatized in today's society. In an example pointed out in a brief from the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond, the way that the current system is set up is not working. Currently, let's say that you are a single mother that qualifies for a welfare program which is providing you with $1,000 per month. Now, let's say that you've struck upon a bit of luck and you've gotten a raise at your job for $500. So now you're making $1,000 from the income and $500 from the extra raise that you've gotten. This is good, right? Well, wrong. Because your income pushes you above the threshold for the $1,000, that money is now taken away from you and you are only left with the $500 pay increase that you got before. Meaning that net, you are down $500. Meaning it's actually hurting you more than it's helping you. This is just one example of the many things that is wrong with the current welfare system, and something that a universal basic income, which provides somebody with an amount of money regardless of their social standing, regardless of their income, would aim to fix. In addition to that, many of the welfare programs that already exist in the United States, and the people that are using these programs feel like they're judged or stigmatized by the need for welfare. A journal documenting the perceptions of welfare from individuals by Western Michigan University documented this perception in testimonials from a dozen different people that are actually on welfare programs such as food stamps and other government subsidies programs, and a lot of them felt that they were ashamed of the fact that they were on welfare programs. A universal basic income would cut this completely, as it's not just somebody needing a handout from the government, it is every able-bodied U.S. citizen above a certain age getting this income. So, a universal basic income would be a monthly stipend paid to every adult. It sounds like a lot of money, so how would this be paid for? Well, as it pointed out in an Investopedia article, the biggest political proponent of UBI, or Universal Basic Income, has for now been presidential candidate Andrew Yang, who ran in the 2020 election. A lot of the ideas that he had for funding universal basic income included cutting government spending to places where it has been overbloated for years, such as the U.S. military. And also, his biggest proponent is by introducing what's known as a value-added tax. And a value-added tax would essentially take back the rights of data in the US individual. I'm sure you've heard of it by now, but companies are making tons of money selling your personal data online to advertisers so that they can help advertise more specific things. So you can see this in the form of, say, you're texting your friend or Snapchatting your friend about vacuum cleaners, and then all of a sudden you start getting ads for vacuum cleaners. Andrew Yang proposed to impose a tax on this type of value added, and this would help go towards funding universal basic income. By implementing a value added tax, this would help fund a universal basic income and also put the money back in the hands of the consumers, which is where it belongs, since it is your data. Other ideas brought up by those who are for UBI include a carbon tax and shrinking of the US military. So potentially UBI can work, but has it ever been shown to be effective? Yes. In fact, UBI has been shown to be effective in both international and local studies. A report from McKinsey & Company found that after implementing universal basic income in Finland, it led to an increase in employment, significantly boosted multiple measures of the recipient's well-being, and reinforced a positive individual and societal feedback loops. And if you're looking for more information, in the United States, a pilot program in Stockton, California, found that by giving 125 families just $500 a month in universal basic income for 24 months, found that the families involved were healthier, showed less signs of depression, and garnered enhanced well-being. So hopefully now you can see that UBI is not only a good option to fix the current economic situation in the United States, but also has worked and can work. But what would this mean for the future? Implementing UBI would lead you to a world where you would not be tied down by financial issues and could be free to pursue other hobbies. In the same two studies that I mentioned previously, individuals found that they were able to work on more creative endeavors that they had, whether that be hobbies outside of work or things in their normal life that just brought them fulfillment. Imagine that you were able to use universal basic income to start a business or take time off work to spend more time with your kids. That is the vision of universal basic income and what proponents of it are envisioning for the future. So hopefully, now you can see the full vision of universal basic income. America is struggling financially, and the current systems put into place are not cutting it. Universal basic income is a proven strategy to fix this, and it has already been shown to be effective in small doses. Implementing this on a wide scale would allow for a more creative and stress-free world. So hopefully now you are more warm to the idea of universal basic income.